All right, guys. So welcome back to our Reading Between the Lines book club. We are on chapter 11, talking about positive reinforcement. We ended last week talking about the Pre Mack principle. So Pre Mack principle basically being first then, grandma's law. So setting contingencies. So this is contingent on this. So that's what we talked about last week. I thought as an icebreaker, we could kind of start, since it's the new year, to talk about some kind of first thens that we've set for ourselves as your, I guess, New Year's resolution. So I will go first. So for 2023, I set some goals for myself. One of them is going to be to work out more. So I set a goal. If I work out 3 days a week, I will get reinforcement, which will be my choice, my adult beverage of choice. So that's my first then. So first work out 3 days, then you get wine. I also, another 2023 goal is I want to get my LLC so that I could be an independent contracted BCBA and kind of do some stuff on the side for myself. So that's one of my goals for 2023. Anybody else want to go and share their 2023 first thens?
I'll go last.
Okay. Peace, what are your goals for 2023?
Yeah, my first goal is to come to school and
Okay.
then start my ABA, master's. And then my second goal was to help as many as I can in my localities. I've identified about 3 more children who are on the spectrum and parents are not accepting it. So it's my goal that I'll make parents understand and then you see the way forward how to help their kids. They're about 3, getting to 3 years. Cute boys, twins, and it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually my church. So these are my 2 goals for the year.
Those are good. So first, she's going to go to school, and then her reinforcement is she's going to get a master's. That's going to be the consequence. So goes to school, gets her master's, and then her other goal is first, try to help these parents understand that the children need to seek help for their diagnosis. And then they will get access to help them thrive in life. I love it. Anybody? Vincentia or Olga?
I was gonna say, so if I pass the exam, then I will treat myself to a vacation, long overdue. But my main goal is to disseminate the ABA out to others and, do some pro bono work too. So in other words, try to help those that cannot afford ABA, because we all know it's very expensive. And there's still individuals that don't even have the insurance or the money, and they need it. So I would like to start some sort of, I guess it would be like a non-for-profit way of trying to have, BCBAs work and help people that are, in need, because we all know that this really does work, right? If you're able, so. Because I know every other field or every other profession, like lawyers, accountants, they all have to do within their, whatever I don't know what they call their boards. They have to do some pro bono work just to kind of, and it helps too for, client, you can get clients out of that as well, right, Selena? I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of one hand washes the other. So,
Yes.
so if I pass, then I can do all that. My pre-mac.
Then you can change the world. Exactly. And
Grandma's law. Yeah, grandma's law. That's great.
That's the best motivation. So she's like, if I pass the test, then I can change the world.
Yeah.
I love it.
Definitely did do that.
I also have considered doing nonprofit, like some type of nonprofit organization. So my heart goes out to the older kids. So like maybe like a day school or like a vocational program where I can rent out a house and make it like kind of like a little like day living type for the older community, because they get so left behind, because ABA, like you said, it is a luxury service, but also it only goes up to a certain point. After a while, it's like, okay, we can no longer pay for this 15-year-old to be in services. So you're going to have to find alternatives. And that can be hard for parents as well. So I've also
right? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why would, I mean, it works for anything, right? Why do you have to cut it off? Right? Yeah, I agree. That's smart.
Okay, what about you, Vincentia?
Hello, Celine. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just like P said, I think my goals are also just similar to P's own. I also want to go to school to do the ABA. So right now I'm looking for schools and putting in the applications. I deal with university students and special education. The interest came as a result of the experience I had with some of the students with challenges in relation to learning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the interest started. And I did a one-third course in special education. And through the special education, I realized that I had also developed the interest in the ABA. So I'm hoping by this year I'll get a school. I'll also enroll, do the study, come back, and I'm focusing on those who were not able to get into the university. Because of my art background, I actually want to help them with vocational skills, because that's what I've been doing in the department, equipping the student with skills so that they can come out and set up their own businesses. So those who cannot make it to the university because of learning problems or because of other behavioral issues, what can I do to help such people? At least equip them with certain skills that they can independently do on their own or with little assistance.
Yes, I love that. Everybody has such great goals. That's why I love this field so much, because we're people who want to help other people. And today I actually had to do a tour at the clinic, and I'm not administration. I shouldn't be doing tours, but they didn't speak English and I speak Spanish. So I was like, okay, I've never done a tour before, but I'll do it. So I ended up having to do a tour of the clinic, and you could just see the desperation in the mom, because it's her first time ever having to seek services, or what is ABA? I don't know what's happening. Like, you're explaining what your building is, but I don't even know what ABA is. So it was just so much and so overwhelming. But it was, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop talking until I felt like she was at peace. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to help you. I do this because I can help you. I can help them be better. They can be better. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. They're not broken. There's nothing wrong with them. They just learn a little bit differently. And so just like us being able to spread that and give that to other people is just so reinforcing to me. I'm like, this is why I do this. And so I actually had to sit there for like an hour and talking in Spanish and doing my best, because my Spanish isn't that great. My family's from Mexico, but I was born in the US, so my Spanish is not very good. It's like very English, Spanish, Spanglish. So I was doing my best, but yes, that's why we do what we do, just so we can help other people who need us. All right, Monica, your turn.
Okay,
Your
so
first then, or your goals for 2023.
okay, so my first goal is to kind of just really just focus on me. Like I feel like a lot of like past years I kind of just been focused on family, our relationships or whatever. So this year I just really want to take the time to just focus on me, figure out what I want to do. I do believe in God. So I really want to center God this year and see like what he has for my life, like what he wants me to do. I know that I want to help people, but I don't know what exactly that's going to look like. So I'm going to try to go back to school and figure that out, whether it's becoming an occupational therapist, a speech therapist, a mental health therapist. I don't know what it will be, but I definitely want it to be in this helping field. My second goal is to just learn more. Like I want to learn so much more about ABA. Like I feel like when I first started in this field, I kind of took my job for granted. I was kind of just like, oh, it's a job, you know, it's a good career, it's a good place to be. But over the years, I've kind of realized I'm a huge part in these kids' journey, like a huge, huge part, because early intervention is so important. So now I kind of realize, okay, because I'm such a huge part in their journey, I just want to make sure I'm giving them the best therapy I can. And I know I'm not perfect. I know I don't know everything. But this year, I really want to make it a goal to become a better therapist, learn different strategies, learn different types of ways to approach things. And then last, my last goal, this is going to sound probably silly, but I want to get a dog. Like, I feel like I've always wanted a dog. It's something that, you know, I just love animals. I just haven't had enough time, but I'm really going to try to like make time in my schedule to be able to do that. So yeah, and those are my goals, and that's it.
No, I love that. You can have my dog. She's a puppy. She's crazy.
See,
I'm like, I'm not sure if I was ready.
I just feel like I have so much love to give, and I wanna like give it to an animal, you know?
Yes, they're the
I have
best.
it's like it's just me, so like might as well.
Oh, look at Olga with her baby.
It's so
Aw,
cute.
thank- Oh, I don't have the video on. Can't see.
Oh yeah, you don't have your video. Yes, I have two dogs. I have a boxer. He is 12 or 13. He's an old man. And then yeah, and then I have a new puppy. So I'm also a dog person. I love dogs. I foster them whenever I can. And
Yeah.
so I was a foster fail. Maybe you can try that, Monica. You can try fostering this year and figure out like which one you truly love and just help out in that way. That would be really nice. I can hook you up with it's right there on Greenhouse with the people that I get my dogs from. But yeah, I was a foster fail and then I ended up keeping one, but I don't know if I was ready for a puppy because there's so much work, high energy. Like she bites everything up, and I'm just having to go through that newborn baby phase again.
Wow. Yeah. No.
Oh, what's your baby's name, Olga?
So I have two of these Cavalier King Charles. This is Apollo. He's
Apollo.
Yeah, he's 1.5. And then I have a Zoe. She's with my husband, and she's 2 and a couple months. So we brought them really close together. They're
Aw.
they're a great breed if you for children. But they're lap dogs, as you can see. He just wants
Yeah.
to. I'm studying. I think he knows ABA too.
Yeah, you should. He probably does all the studying you do.
and we do a lot. I use ABA on him. You know, if you go pee pee outside, then you get a treat.
Yes.
So if then, right?
Yes. I always tell parents when I do parent trainings, I'm like, ABA is everywhere, everywhere, and you don't even know it. You use it on your dog, on your husband, on your kids. ABA is everywhere. But Peace has 5 wonderful dogs. Wow. Okay, Denise just joined us. So Denise, we are about to go into chapter 11, but we were talking about last week, we ended up on the pre-Mack principle. And so since it's the new year, we were just talking about our goals for ourselves, so our first thens. So I told them that I was going to work out more and then I can have access to wine. So I have to work out 3 days, then I get access to my reinforcer. So everybody already went. If you want to share your first then or your goals for this year, and then we'll go into response deprivation.
I would say I'm trying to eat healthier now. So whenever I eat healthier throughout the week, like Monday through Friday, Saturdays and Sundays could be like my cheat days.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I always tell, so I ABA everybody. I even ABA myself, and I even talk to myself like as a BCBA. I'm like, well, Selena, we have to set small, attainable goals in order for us to shape the behavior to be like where you truly want to be, you know? So I'm like, okay, work out 1 time a week, then you get wine. Work out 2 times a week, then you can have wine. Work out 3 times a week, then you can have wine. So I like shape my own behavior. So there's something wrong with my mind, the way that it works, but I have to like be like talking to myself in that way. But yes, that is a great one. Okay, so I guess we can start. Okay, so response deprivation hypothesis. Anybody want to give it a go or try to explain response deprivation? We're still talking about EOs. So restricting. Oh, you're gonna go? Go ahead.
Oh, I said
So response deprivation, restricting access to a behavior, presumably acts as a form of deprivation that serves as an EO, thus making the opportunity to engage in a restrictive behavior as an effective form of reinforcement. We have another person who joined us, Morgan. Hi, Morgan.
Wait, aren't these the
I'm
Morgan-
sorry. I finally figured out how to get in.
Oh,
It's okay. What did you say, Monica?
I thought it was Denise and Morgan from work.
Oh, no. These, where are you from, Morgan?
Panama City, Florida.
Ooh, she's in Florida. No, Monica, you're the only one I think from work. She thinks she knows everybody. Okay, so Morgan, we were talking about, I think you're new to our group. Yes. Okay. Welcome. So we are on chapter 11. We're on page 265, but we were just doing like a little fun, because last week we ended on pre-Mack principle. So we were just doing a little fun, like, saying everybody's first thens. So what is your goal for 2023? So I told them first, I have to work out 3 days a week, then I get access to wine. Some people is first I take this exam, then I can change the world. So go ahead, and if you want to, you can tell us your first then for this year.
Oh, I did that wrong.
Well, my biggest one is definitely passing this test. I am a multi retaker. So the biggest struggle is passing this test, but I have been doing some self-care 2 times a week, like exercising, Zumba and yoga 2 times a week. So starting at the basics.
Yes, good, perfect. Yeah, I was telling them how important it is for us to ABA ourselves, like set small goals that you can attain, and then we can shape our own behavior. So you don't want to start off with some crazy goal that you're probably never going to get to, and you'll never attain reinforcement. And that's one of the most important things in ABA, is to get these kids access to reinforcement in order for you to increase any behavior. So if they're always stagnant, never getting access to reinforcement, then I'm not motivated to move. But yes, so welcome. But we were going to go into response deprivation. Does anybody want to explain in their own words what response deprivation is? So we talk about Cooper, Morgan, just so you know, we talk about Cooper and how he explains things in a very complex way. We just try to break it down and give real life examples or clinical examples. We have people from all over the world, really. So we just all kind of break it down into different ways that are easier for us to understand. So response deprivation, anybody want to try? They call it reversibility of reinforcement. So what do you guys think that means?
Can you say that one more time?
Is that,
They call it what?
The reversibility of reinforcement.
So you don't get reinforcement when you, after the response?
Isn't it when you want to decrease the reinforcement to have more opportunities so they can engage on the task that you want them to be like you want it to be to increase it?
Serve as reinforcement for increased performance. Yeah, we're trying to increase something. So it says here, response deprivation for reading, as the contingent response resulted in increase in math instrumental response. Response deprivation for math, as the contingent response produced increases in reading. They give really hard examples. Okay, let me look at this one. Reinforcement of a low rate target behavior when access to a high rate contingent behavior is restricted below baseline levels. 30 minutes of homework gets access to 30 minutes of TV.
"30 minutes of homework gives access to 30 minutes of TV." So however long you work is however long you get the reinforcement?
Yeah, so I guess there's reinforcement of low rates, get access to high rates of behavior. Okay.
this is the response deprivation, right? We're talking about.
Yes. Does anybody have a better, easier way to explain response deprivation? So we change the behavior's future outcome, because that's a response, by depriving, so by manipulating something in the environment, right? Is that how your guys' brain is working?
So yeah, it says restricting access to a behavior presumably acts as a form of deprivation, right? Like you said, an EO, thus making the opportunity to engage in it more effective.
Okay, let me
Okay.
read.
Found an example that kind of
That would be like, Selena, like when what we were saying about not having, like you said, not having any wine. So you're depriving, right? But then, so you're restricting the behavior and depriving it. And then that makes you have more of a,
More motivation.
Right, establishing,
Yes,
right?
perfect, perfect, perfect. Yes. So I always give everybody this example. So when I was going to take my exam, I stopped drinking for 2 weeks because I was like, okay, I'm going to study hard for 2 weeks. And drinking is a reinforcer for me. That's how I like to chill, you know? So Selena was not allowed access to any type of adult beverages for 2 weeks. And if she didn't pass that exam, she would continue not to have access to her reinforcer until she passed that exam. So that was really motivating for me because if I don't pass this exam in 2 weeks, I can't take it for another 30 days. So that would be 30 days plus 2 weeks. So that's what they're talking about. Response deprivation. So we're depriving her access to that reinforcer to make her more likely to engage in the behavior or more motivated to engage in the behavior. But that's perfect. I love how your brain broke that down, Olga. Anybody else?
Using real life examples helps.
It really does, because Cooper says it in like such a behavioral way that you're like, okay, now say that again in real life. Yeah, perfect. So response deprivation hypotheses, we are hypothesizing that if I don't allow Selena access to wine, she will be more reinforced or more motivated to pass that exam. Okay, cool. So then it goes on to talking.
Yeah.
What was
Sorry,
that? Somebody wanted.
I was going to say, Selena, I'm sorry. What about the reversibility of reinforcement then? How would we add like an example for that then?
Reversibility of reinforcement?
Yeah, that's on 266.
Mm-hmm.
Something about then 2 activities could serve as reinforcement for the increased performance. So
Okay, so it says Dugan took the response deprivation in a step further by examining the reversibility of reinforcement within subjects. That is, engaging in either 2 activities, reading or math, could serve as reinforcement for increased performance in another activity. So I think what they're saying there is like offering them choices. So you can have this or this. But either way, they're both serving as reinforcement. Is that what it's saying? In a response deprivation condition for a contingent activity. So it says response deprivation for reading as the contingent response resulted in increase in math responses. Conversely, response deprivation for math as contingent response produced increases reading. Oh, so it's telling us the one need not find another activity that occurs at a higher rate to serve as reinforcement if one could arrange a sustainable deprivation schedule with an activity to occur at a relatively low rate. I don't know if that helped. maybe we can go back and research that one a little bit further so we can understand that one better. But going into identifying potential reinforcers. So now they're going to start talking about preference assessments. Those are super fun, right? We need preference assessments for everything. You need to know what your client is motivated for before you start placing any type of demand. So just like you and I, we're not going to work if we don't know that we're going to get paid. So you always have to figure out what is the method of payment or what is the motivation so that we can make sure that this activity is reinforcing for the individual to increase the likelihood of that behavior occurring in the future. Okay. So we have different types of preference assessments. They break them down differently in the 4th edition versus the 5th edition, but it's all basically the same thing. So it's all about knowing the AKAs in ABA because it's all the same. It just might have a different name for it. So stimulus preference assessment, an SPA, refers to a variety of procedures used to determine A, the stimuli that a person differentially selects, B, a relative hierarchical preference value of those stimuli. Is it a high preference reinforcer or a low preference? And then C, the conditions under which those preference values change when tasks, demands, deprivation states, or schedules of reinforcement are modified. So remembering that these things can be modified based off of the conditions, or maybe I deprived them from this item, and so now it's more valuable. And then D, whether highly preferred items ultimately serve as effective reinforcers. And I always tell people that the reinforcer has to equal the response effort. So if you're telling me to do something that's really, really hard, and I do really want that reinforcer, but if this is way too hard, it's not worth it, then it's no longer valuable, or it's no longer a reinforcer for that activity. So certain activities can change the value of reinforcers. So that's also something really important to keep in mind. Okay, so some different types of stimulus preference assessments. So you have 3 now in the 5th edition. So you have ask, you have free operant, and you have trial based. I thought ask was really funny because I've always done ask, but yeah. I didn't know that that there was like a term for it. So now they're calling it ask. So ask, you either are asking the person. So like, okay, Monica, what do you want to work for? And she's like, okay, I guess I'll work for the lollipop. So that's pretty much me asking the person. Or you can ask Monica's significant other. I can say like, hey mom, or hey Bob, what does Monica really like? And so she'll tell me. Or a pre-task choice. So it's kind of like pre-task choice. Let's see, somebody help me explain that one. Pre-task choice. So I just, what was that?
I'm looking at a pre-task choice for preference.
Where you can ask them what they want to work for.
Yeah, so I guess that's kind of the same thing as person. I'm just, okay, and so then you have free operant. So there's 2 free operant. you have the contrived observation or a naturalistic observation. So contrived observation is going to be, I manipulated a setting and maybe I put out 5 different items in that environment. I'm in one classroom. This is where I do my assessments and this is what I've got. So that's kind of like a contrived observation. Naturalistic observation, maybe I'm in her house or maybe I'm at her school, and I'm just kind of following her around and looking and seeing what she kind of goes for. So those are going to be your free operant stimulus preference assessments. And then you have your trial base. So trial base are going to be those more structured, where we start talking about the MSWO and the SS and multiple stimulus without and multiple stimulus with replacement, paired stimulus, single stimulus type preference assessments. What was that? Does somebody want to give an example of maybe a single stimulus trial-based preference assessment?
Is that when you show them one item at a time, right? If they like, and if they like it or not, and then.
Yeah, so you might like time them and see how long they engage in that one item. So that can be like a single stimulus. And then you have paired stimulus. So that can be the 2 at a time. So do you want this one or this one? And then they pick this one and then
Oh, perfect.
Welcome. She said, oh, perfect.
Yeah, hola, I made it in. Thank you. Hi.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, y tú?
Where are you from?
Yuma, Arizona.
Oh, wow. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. Wow, we have a lot of new people today. Maybe we do need to start later, Olga.
Yeah.
Because more people are joining now that we started later. Okay, so we were talking about preference assessments. We'll come back to you new people to do a first then with you. We were talking about our goals for this year. But we're talking about preference assessments, single stimulus, so 1 item at a time, paired stimulus, we bring out 2, see which one they engage in and for how long. And then you have your multiple stimulus. You have multiple stimulus with replacement, multiple stimulus without replacement. So your multiple stimulus with replacement means that I'm going to put out, oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I collect tiny things. That is like my thing. Hold on, I'm going to do a preference assessment. Okay, so whoever knows me for real knows that I
Yes, and she loves Yoda, baby Yoda.
I love tiny things. Okay, so I love to use them as preference or examples for preference assessments. Okay, so here I have a tiny peanut butter, a tiny box of chicken wings, some bagel bites,
Where do you get those from? They're cute.
isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
I collect them. They are they're pretty much toys. But once I find a set, I make them into earrings.
Oh, cute.
Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. You need 5 is like the minimum. I don't know if it technically is, but that's like a good minimum. Okay, so you've got, we're gonna do multiple stimulus with replacement. Monica, do you want to be my child?
Yes.
Okay, so you have peanut butter chicken wings, bagel bites, Kool-Aid, and Cool Whip. So I'm gonna do a multiple stimulus with replacement. So I'm gonna say, okay, Monica, which one? What do you want?
Okay.
Pick, which one do you want?
I want the chicken wings.
Okay, so for number one, Monica wanted the chicken wings. So I'm gonna give Monica the chicken wings, and she's gonna get to play with them for
At the beginning of my
30
conversation.
for 30 minutes or 30 seconds. And then I'm like,
Ooh,
okay.
fun.
Okay, so we're doing with replacement, right? So, okay, Monica, great job. You like the chicken wings. Okay. And so then I'm just going to mix them up. And I'm going to tell her, okay, Monica, pick one.
Okay. Cool Whip.
Okay, so she wants Cool Whip. Cool Whip. And then I'm going to let her play with it for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to take it back because I'm doing with replacement. So they're all going back into the array. And then I'm just going to maybe move them around. I record her playing with that item. Okay, Monica, which one?
I can't see, but I will take the, I'm trying to remember everything. I will take the Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid. Okay, so I give her the Kool-Aid. And then I write it down. Kool-Aid. I let her play with it for a while, get it back, put it in my array, move it around. Maybe Monica takes the peanut butter or the bagel bites or one of the ones she already got. What do you want, Monica?
I will take the next one on the left because I can't see.
Next one on the left. Bagel bites?
Yes, I want bagel bites.
Okay, Monica wants bagel bites. Bagel bites. Okay. And then moves them around again. And then last but not least, let's say Monica picks the peanut butter. Okay, so multiple stimulus with replacement. I continued to present those same items to Monica, and I just got a hierarchy. So she wanted the chicken wings, the Cool Whip, the Kool-Aid, the bagel bites, and then the peanut butter. So now I've established her reinforcers and kind of their order of their value. So that's like the hierarchy of what she wanted for a multiple stimulus with replacement. But let's say we were doing a without replacement. So who can tell me why we would do a with replacement versus a without replacement? Do you guys know?
Is it kind of like to see what their preference would be from the array?
Yes, but Monica has a history of going into severe challenging behavior when she's denied access to one of her reinforcers. So I'm not even going to go there, and I'm just going to keep presenting them. That way I don't have to worry about that. So that's like a little BCBA tip, something that you can probably use on the exam. But I'm going to do a with replacement because Monica has a history of not allowing me to take her toys from her. So that would be why I would do with replacement, because I continued to put them in there, right?
I have a pregunta. So if, say, like there's an exam question, say that says that the child becomes aggressive when they don't have access to the preferred item, and or when you're removing the preferred item, and one of the options for the answer is free operant, would that be a better option than the array of the multiple stimulus with replacement?
Yeah, I would say so, because you don't even have to make it so structured. You're like, oh, I can just kind of follow her around and figure out what she likes in that way. In that way, I don't have to deny access. So yes, that would be a good one. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Selena,
Yes.
what about if the child keep taking the same item? What do you do?
Then I keep writing it down. So I'm like, let's say I did it like that with Monica, and then she kept on picking chicken wing, chicken wing, chicken wing, chicken wing. I'm like, okay, girl, obviously that's the winner. So I don't even have to worry about all of the other ones and figuring out their value. The
Okay.
chicken wing was the winner. So that's gonna be her highly preferred. So I would use that for sure as her reinforcer. Don't stress yourself out about like forcing her to pick anymore if you've already established that the chicken wing has become the most highly preferred.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'll just model really quickly without replacement. So let's say I'll just do the same order that she picked. I'm like, okay, Monica, pick one. And she does chicken wing. And I'm like, okay, good job, Monica. I love chicken wings too. And she like plays with them for a while. And then I'm going to remove the chicken wing because now I'm doing a multiple stimulus without replacement. So an MSWO now. And she's okay with me removing it from her view. And so then I ask her again, all right, Monica, which one? She says, Cool Whip. I let her play with it for 30 seconds and now I'm going to take it back. My turn. Okay, cool. Now, Monica, which one? And then she takes which one? Kool-Aid, I think she took next. And then I take that one. Awesome job. What's next, Monica? And then she tells me Bagel Bites. Okay, cool. And now I know this one's last. So that's the way that you get the hierarchy or the order.
Okay.
It's kind of the same thing as the multiple stimulus with replacement, but with the with replacement, she's able to pick the same thing over and over versus now with my without, it goes by a little bit quicker. So that's what I always tell people is that the MSWO, so without replacement, is going to go by quicker than any other one because you're just taking it and taking it, taking it, taking it.
Okay, great.
Okay, awesome job. Okay, maybe now we can ask Kai. Is it Kai Hernandez? We can ask you what is your first then or your goal for 2023?
To pass the exam. I'm a multiple test taker, and my last score I got on the 11th was a 396. So that's my goal.
Okay, well, you're almost there. You're definitely
Almost.
gonna get there next time for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I was low in experimental design.
Okay, yeah, that one's hard. We just went through experimental design, I think, and I was just telling them like how boring those are for me. That's
I
not
relate.
that's not the fun stuff. I like talking about like reinforcement and how we can manipulate the environment to increase and decrease behavior, but like all of the experimental design stuff is not so fun.
Definitely. But I've been watching your videos on YouTube and I shared them in my like my study group that I have. So I was like, I'm gonna join live tonight.
Oh, awesome. Yes, I think you commented on my YouTube. That's how you got the group?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so excited. I'm happy that it's actually reaching people and that it really helps people.
It does. And thank you so much for doing these.
Yes, thank you for joining us. I also I always share the I guess the little, what do they call it? The exam outline with them. So she said she struggled the most on experimental design. That one has 12 questions. So the exam has 12 questions on experimental design, which is going to be 6%, 6.86% of your exam. So even if it's not fun, at least kind of look at it a little bit. The most important one is G. That one is behavior change procedures. That one's 20%. And then the next one is B. That one's concepts and principles. That's 18% of your exam. So at least the fun ones are a little bit more, way more.
For sure.
Okay, so we talked about the different types of stimulus preference assessment, reinforcer assessments. So now it's going to go into in the moment, concurrent schedules, multiple schedules, and progressive ratio schedules. So now we're going to talk about reinforcement schedules. Reinforcement schedules are so important. Somebody said, can you share the link for the YouTube? I think they mean for the YouTube. Who is Zoom user?
No, for your the one that you just talked about right now, like you were showing us the percentage of the exam stuff like that. Please, can you share it on Facebook so we can see?
Oh yeah, of course. This is actually from the BACB, but yeah, I'll like make a little snippet and share it with you guys on the chat. What is your name? I don't think you told us your reinforcer or your goal for 2023.
Oh, just to pass the exam. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, Olga is her goal is first pass the exam and then she gets to change the world.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, yes, I will share it on the chat for you guys. So schedules of reinforcement. I think, do you guys think that we should pause the recording and talk about schedules of reinforcement next time? It's already 8. We did pretty good talking about all the different preference assessments. So for next week, we can go into reinforcer assessment. So the different types of schedules of reinforcement. I'm going to pause the recording.